G'day guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mark and this is our Whittle adventure. So we're currently traveling around Australia. We're 9.5 months in. We don't really have an end date as such, just when the budget runs out. But I'm going to talk about our tow vehicle. So this is a 100 Series Landcruiser, 2006 model, the 1HD FTE 4.2 straight 6 turbo motor on it. Arguably the best motor Toyota's ever built. Absolutely brilliant. It's done 215,000 Ks and these are well known to do 500,000 comfortably. We do have little bits and pieces break, but the motor itself is just running beautifully. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to talk about how we got it ready for towing, a couple of the safety features that we added to the car, how we got our weights sorted, and a few things to make the car run a bit smoother, better, cleaner. So to start with weights. So my car was already heavy. I've owned it for 9 years now, and I had like the dual wheel carrier, the steel roof rack, the awning, winch on the front. I had it all. You know, drawers, fridge slide, fridge. I went and got the car weighed before we got the van, and I was 3 ton with nothing in the drawers, full tank of fuel, no passengers. So I only had 260 kilos. So I'm at 3.26 is my GVM. I only had 260 kilos left to where 180 kilos as a full family, including the dogs. So I only had 80 kilos left for the towable weight. So that was not going to cut it. So first thing I did was start stripping stuff off the car. So the roof rack came off, the steel one, and the awning. I ran like that with no roof rack for the first couple of months of our trip. I used to have the 2 spares. I got rid of one of them. Each one, rim and tyre, is 40 kilos, plus the swing arm is close to 55 kilos. I took out the fridge and the fridge slide, so the fridge actually travels just in the van, not plugged in or anything. We just use it like either like a beer fridge or a chest freezer when we're doing long trips away. We're not sure if we regret bringing it or not yet. We haven't really needed it, but we've got it there. We can afford the weight, so we'll keep taking it. I had pretty well run with the drawers empty, and I used to have a winch as well, but the winch was getting pretty old. The cable was all rusted and stuff like that, and I had never needed it. Tyre pressures and the max tracks had got me out of everything, and we're not planning on doing anything too serious with the van on the back, so didn't bother putting the winch in. I took that out when the car got a respray 2 years ago, and I just haven't bothered putting it back in. And once we started looking at this trip, I went, yeah, I'll sell it. So I got rid of that. So I stripped off about 180 kilos of weight, which brought me just in, and we ran like that for a little while, but I had to be really careful, and I was sick of running that close. So I got rid of the drawers and the cargo barrier, which came to almost 90 kilos. I swapped it out for the new ARB base rate because they're only 19 kilos. I've only put about 10 to 15 kilos of stuff up there. The tyre that's up there has no rim in it. It's just a spare tyre for the van. We've got a spare tyre and rim for the van, but that's an extra one when we were doing the data and stuff like that. The little 4 kilo gas bottle, and then the jerry can usually runs empty. It's only when we're going to be pushing, that a little bit too far that I want to carry an extra bit of diesel. So when that is full, I've got about 30 kilos spare on the GVM. When it's empty, I've got about 50. So pretty happy. I need to go back over a weighbridge. We have moved a few things around, but I don't mind running quite close to my max because I've done it. If you look at the axle ratings, they're rated to 3.5 together, and then I've got upgraded suspension. I've got upgraded brakes. So I don't mind running at the max as long as I'm under my GVM. I'm happy. So getting it set up for towing, first thing we did was got new mirrors. So these are the O-Cam 4x4 mirrors. Because we're traveling full time, we didn't want the ones that you have to clip on and clip off. You have to take them off if you don't have anything attached behind you. So these are just push in, push out, really good. There's a couple of good ones on the market, the MSA ones and also Clearviews. Apparently Clearviews are the best. We couldn't afford everything. I would love to just deck this car out in ARB gear and Clearview gear and the best of the best, but the more we spent getting ready, the less time we could have spent away doing this. So we got what we could afford basically, and we're quite happy with them. They're proven their worth. Secondly, I did my brakes, so I've updated the brake rotors to the slotted DBA T3s with the Bendix Kevlar brake pads, and I carry some spare brake pads with me. They're proven really well. There was a day that I forgot to wind up the TowPro Elite, the electric brake system, and I can still pull up the van pretty well with just the car. So really happy with the brakes. They're a lifesaver. I also wanted to help run the car a little bit cleaner, help it breathe a bit better, so I replaced the front mount intercooler. So that's the HPD half size front mount intercooler to suit this car. I was able to replace that myself. I think it was like $900. Uses some of the factory piping, but there was some new stuff in there as well. And then I also put a 3-inch exhaust instead of the factory exhaust. So I chose the brand Manta. They're a Perspex. I got the muffler option. I didn't need a constant drone by going without the muffler. I'm glad we didn't, sitting with the van working hard all day every day. And then I also got the performance chip to suit the Manta as well. I don't know how much it really does. I'd love to get this tuned properly, but the Manta chip seems to help just bring on that turbo power a little bit earlier in the rev range. It used to be like 2000 RPM is when you really felt the turbo working, where now that sort of comes in at 1600, 1700, so it helps us with those hills. So yeah, that's running a hell of a lot better. Like the temperatures never creep up or anything like that, but then we're not really doing big driving days anyway. We also installed the TowPro Elite, so I did that again myself. I've got the knob here. Some people like to put it in reach of the passenger. I didn't want that. Being a manual car, I didn't want Clem reaching over while I'm trying to change gears and stuff like that in an emergency. I wanted my gear stick in my left hand, brakes in my right hand. So that's why it's down here. And I found 5 when you're sitting on the highway. Seems to be the best sort of setting. That's when you feel the van sort of helping but not taking over. So yeah, really good bit of gear. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I installed it myself because I had a little bit of dicky wiring and I know where all the wiring is. Just constant vibrations had just rattled it loose on the circuit breaker in the engine bay, but I knew where all the cables went, so I was able to fix it really quickly. To the safety Dave. So we run a reversing camera for the van. It was already installed on the van. I just needed to mount this monitor and I ran that cable as well to the back. That's handy as. I don't know how people put big vans like this into caravan parks without a camera like that. Okay, so suspension. The car already had a 2-inch lift from Old Man Emu. I have had to replace some of those parts from the 9 years I've owned the car, and God knows how long they were on there beforehand. So I've actually replaced the front shocks for Buildstones. And yes, my upper control arm ball joint has split. I'm getting new ones of them next week. And then in the rear, I've still got the Old Man Emu shocks, but I've got EFS 350 kilo constant rated coil springs, and I've put the Airbag Man airbags with the Kevlar sleeve in them as well. You can see them there. So I don't really need air in the airbags. This is how we sit. Like I've just got to stabilize the legs down just to take a bit of the bounce out of the van, but it sits really nicely and rides really nicely, because at the moment I've got no air in the airbags. One of them, the hoses come out, so I need to just stop for a couple of days so I can actually do some work on the car. So we're stopping tomorrow for a few days, so I'm going to fix it then. But this is how it rides without the air. So there's a bit of an overcompensation on my behalf. So I'm really happy with the fact that I can run without the airbags, but they do take away some of the bounce. So I will get them sorted. But that's pretty well it on the car. We love our tow rig. It's my baby, my big girl, my pride and joy. Feel free to reach out if you've got any questions. I get asked a lot of questions on this. You know, I know there's a lot of 200 series and the Y62 Patrols are really popular, and people are now using Rams and Chevys and stuff to tow. You wouldn't even feel a van like this behind them. But this is serving its purpose. It does everything we want it to do. I know the vibrations, I know the sounds, so I can pick up on things a lot quicker than if I was in a brand new car. So it's got its quirks, but she's doing the job. So this is about the car. I'm going to do another one on the van soon. I'll leave you to it. You have a good one. I'll speak to you later.